back to another episode of Detroit City Sportscast. Thank you all for checking out. We got a special one today. It's Friday, October the 4th, at the time of recording this, early evening, mid-evening hours. It's been a joyous time. It's continuing to be a joyous time. So to give everybody a note, this is not going to be, or this is a Detroit Tigers centric episode, full on Detroit Tigers sicko. Our version of being in the wild, dare we say to speak. Can't do this alone. 6 months ago, after the first regular season series, we had a dear friend of ours join us now after the first playoff series is done, ahead of the Detroit Tigers Division Series beginning tomorrow at Cleveland against the Cleveland Guardians. We had to bring him back. So in addition to Adam joining me as usual, and it was super, super close, 5 minutes for me, if that, over across the other side of Van Dyke in a mile. Like Feldbush, but we know him and love him as Yowdy. My friend, how are you? What a run are we on right now?
Dude, I'm on top of the world right now. I literally can't believe this. If you would have told me this 2 months ago, before this run, I would have called you crazy. There's no way.
No, because I put that on Twitter, Yowdy. Imagine going back in a time machine to early August, or right after the trade deadline. They trade away Flaherty, trade away Urshela, trade away Canna. Obviously Flaherty was the big one though. But go back to the day after that, and if somebody told you that the Tigers not only were going to go to the postseason, they're going to go on some crazy ass run to get to the postseason more than 8 games out. Not only were they going to do that, but they were going to beat Houston in Houston, sweep them in the wild card series, and go on to the divisional round against Cleveland. Which is weird to say too, because this is the first time that Cleveland and Detroit has ever faced each other in the postseason. But what would you do, Yowdy?
No, I would have called. There's no way. I would have called you a liar. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, I like the Flaherty trade at the time. I want to say that. Like, I like.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I like getting a shortstop at the time, but I'm like, there's no way. Like, my brother asked me, I think he was like, could we make the playoffs? And I'm like, yeah, there's a chance, but like, what are we gonna do when we get there? We have 2 starters at the time. We had Scooble and Montero. Like, there's no way we're going to make the playoffs with that.
Well, who's getting used to pitching in the major leagues because on the end of May was his first ever start.
Yeah, and he was not a highly rated prospect either.
And not only that, Montero wasn't even on the wild card series roster.
No, I mean, I get it because
I get it too, but
I think he'll be there for this one. But like, no, it's just it is crazy how we got here.
Well, not only that, Yowdy, too. They trade away all those aforementioned guys, but Maeda was also really bad this year as a starter. He gets demoted to the pen, and again, he doesn't even make the wild card roster.
You remember how excited I was for him? I was so excited.
You know what? That's fine. I was excited for him too, but that just adds to all of this
for us.
So many things adds to it.
And that was like, this is what we were talking, and this is kind of the thing to have this. And I think, Adam, you and I were talking. Did we record? I know we did Make City Make Spence on the 4th of July. Did we also talk Tigers on the 4th, or just before that when they were 10 under 500?
I can't remember, but all I remember was it was the same talking point every single time that we brought them up, because they would go on these losing streaks, and then all of a sudden they'd rattle off like 3 straight wins, and they'd be like, and be like, oh, well, what do you think? Are they going to do something? And the conversation was always around, well, they have to be consistent about this. We're not going to get excited until they show some consistency with their winning, because rattling off 3 straight wins after losing the 3 prior, or losing series after series after series, then winning one, then losing series after series after series again, not sustainable. But for some reason, I think I heard it on the radio or something that AJ Hinch had a meeting with the team, and it was right around the Little League series against the Yankees. And I think he asked him something. It was like one of those, I don't want to say like one of those inspirational speeches or anything like that, but I think he asked them, he's like, what type of team do you want to be? Which reflects what he said when they ended up getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say he mentioned that in the speech.
Yeah,
I missed he had like an actual team meeting about that.
Yeah, he had a team meeting and he asked him, and he said, what kind of team do you guys want to be? Do you guys basically, and I'm paraphrasing, do you guys just want to, play out the rest of the season and, just get through it and be done with it? Or do you guys want to try to make shit happen? And obviously they
and I think also too, it's like when you look at the end of June, I was just seeing a few things that happened around that time. The Craig Monroe stuff, obviously, which somehow led to Andy Dirk starting to get television time, which holy fuck, that's been a revelation with Jason Benetti and Dan Petrie. Also, I do enjoy the Andy Dirks daily Twitter videos, whether it's he's leaving the stadium or he's with his kids and his wife. But then Jim Costa in his daily chat with AJ Hinch, and he asked AJ Hinch, "Do you think you're doing a good job?" And AJ was kind of, direct, but I think trying to maintain. Kirk Gibson having an interview, being. So you're seeing these points, and you're at the time when I think some of these people are seeing, they're like, where are they fucking seeing this? To then go through this run, which is hard to explain. Like Adam, you and I were in the Detroit City men's women's doubleheader. Yowdy, this was the Dodgers series. So this is game 2 of the Dodgers series. Shohei Ohtani is having a game against us. We're 9-4 down. Game 2 against the Dodgers, the last series before the All-Star break. And I see like somebody hit a 2-3 run ding, and then Colt Keith hit a tying shot or whatever it was, and then they came back and they beat the Dodgers in extra innings. And we're like, we're just sitting there like, I think even Sal was with us, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then the next day, Maeda's first bullpen thing, because unfortunately, the last time he started, we were 5-0 down to Cleveland, and we were recording to Make City Make Spence, and that was when your brother was with Noah and did the 9 hot dog thing. So then do 3 2/3, then Zach McKinstry with a fucking walk-off home run. But yet they were making these strides, and they were slipping a little bit. And then Kelly gets dealt. Chafin gets dealt. Canna gets dealt. Flaherty gets dealt. Lose 3 out of 4 to the Royals, and then Williamsport happens. We take 2 out of 3 versus Seattle, lose a game where a missed diving pitch loses the game. You lose a tough series with the Giants, but then they kept rattling these things off. We talk about, in your mind, what are some unsung heroes, do you think, for this team in this run? Just because obviously you have the obvious names. You have Scooble. We've heard Tyler Holton. We've heard Parker Meadows, Kerry Carpenter with some big things coming back from injury. But in your mind, who's some other guys that deserve some of that praise as well?
I mean, first guy that jumps into my mind is Trey Sweeney. Like, I know that one catch in the outfield against the Orioles.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I mean, we wouldn't have a shortstop right now if we didn't have Trey Sweeney. Like, Baez is out of the picture right now with injury, and Kreidler just apparently forgot how to hit after spring.
Oh boy.
So I don't think we'd be here without Trey Sweeney. I really don't.
Is it wild that our two biggest parts of our payroll aren't on this playoff roster? Maeda and Baez.
I mean, is there anything more Tigers than that right now?
No, your highest paid player on this playoff roster right now was Colt Keith. He was making like 2.3 million or something like that. That's
Yeah,
the highest pay.
Maybe I don't even think Scooble's making 2 with
No,
arbitrary.
the thing about
going
Scoop,
to.
yeah, oh yeah, he definitely is, and that's the thing too. Is he was on a pitching limit this year, and that again, that's what was so weird too. Is that not only were they down pitchers after they traded Flaherty, but Scuba was on extended rest too, so he wasn't pitching every fifth day. I mean, it was
Casey
just
Mize on a 60-day, Reese Olson on a 30-day. It was just.
you had Spencer Torkelson spending a good chunk of time in AAA.
Parker
Parker
was down there with him.
Just it's none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense with what the Tigers did. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this team should have been finishing obviously ahead of the White Sox, but second to last in the division. That's how things should have transpired. But
no, it's hard responding to like trash talk on Twitter because it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't have that great of a team. We're just good as a team. Like, no, we don't have superstars, but they all play together. And
yeah, and that's.
I know Twins fans are salty, but like, one of us is playing tomorrow, and it's not you.
So I feel like when we were talking 6 months ago, we were thinking about last season, the AL Central last season. The AL Central had the only team that had a winning record was the Minnesota Twins that won the division. So we were like, okay, they won 87 games. I think you were hoping like, I think I said 88 to 90. I think you were on the same thing with me, maybe a little bit close to that. Tigers wind up winning 86, going 30 after that 31-13 run. But there were 4 winning teams in the AL Central. You have 3 of them make the playoffs, and you have the team with the now most losses in a 162 game season on there. So shout out Chicago White Sox. Thanks for Benetti. We love him. Yankee in the back.
Hey, what do you think they're more sad about losing, Benetti or all those losses?
How about Benetti? How about Benetti being on the call for their loss and him just getting drenched by Jason Foley?
He's like, man, I dodged the bullet on this.
How hard you knew I was starting to really cry when when Benetti's like, I need more, and AJ Hinch does the beer and does the wraparound hug.
He's like, I don't know who it is.
And then you see
you find out it's the manager pouring a beer on.
And then you just get that big hug. Oh, I lost it then. Which I'm glad Adam told me. It's like, let's take this in. It's like, because I'm like, are we going live? He goes, take it in. I'm like, all right, let's take it in. And yeah.
There's been so many good like Tigers like locker room like scenes before, like when after they closed, because the last time they did it was what was it, 2014 or whatever, because that's when, or no, it was prior to that. It was because it was 2013 when when Leland was crying, talking about the team, and then Torrey Hunter came in and hugged him and like carried him into the locker room, and then he did that little dance on the way out.
I just pictured that dance. As soon as you said 2013, I'm like, oh, it's the dance, right?
AJ Hinch, in your mind, Yowdy, we already seen what this guy could do before he came to the Tigers in 1, being a GM, and 2, formulating an Astros team. Granted, he, everything that happened in Houston, and, he faced the year penalty. Now he's here, and we're seeing what I think is this year's should be, with all respect to Kansas City and a 30-win turnaround, my opinion, manager of the year. Are you like me in feeling that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly trying to think of who else. I don't know, maybe Pat Murphy, but like
for AL, for AL, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, really just Kansas City. Because I mean, honestly, they were more surprising than we were, really. I mean,
Yeah,
Bobby Witt's great, but I did not think Seth Lugo was going to be a Cy Young candidate.
I think the thing, though, for them is I remember asking my buddy, my hand trick Frankfurt show guide who's in Kansas City, like, what the fuck did y'all do in the offseason? He goes, pitching. I'm like, what? And I looked, and they brought in 6 pitchers.
Yeah, Walker was great for him, too.
Yeah. But I feel like it's so close just because, like you said, they brought in pitching. We traded pitching and developed kids.
I mean, I could see Kansas City winning just because Hinch has won a World Series before, so it's not like this is his first time around. You know, I don't know.
Adam, what do you feel on it?
I think the favorite is probably going to be Stephen Voigt. It seems like that's who most people are kind of pointing to, which is obviously ironic because you're going to have Hinch and Voigt go head to head, right? You know, starting tomorrow in the ALDS, but it's so hard at this point. Like, yes, what Cleveland did was great. You know, won what turned out to be a very, very good AL Central, aside from, you know, obviously the White Sox. So, you know, being able to go and win that division as a manager is, you know, it's commendable. But when you look back on this, I kind of look at this like that AL MVP race from when was this? When it was Cabrera and Trout going at it.
2012.
You know, yeah, 2012.
Cabrera's triple crown year versus what Trout did as a rookie.
Yeah, Trout, what he did with the WAR and everything like that. Yeah, you could make a very, very good argument for Trout as the AL MVP. And if he would have won it that year, hey, no issue with it. But Cabrera going out and winning the Triple Crown, that in and of itself was just one of those things. Just like, yeah, it's hard to pass that up. Same thing with this. What AJ Hinch was able to do with this team has only been done one time before. And before that, it's never been done. So there's only been 2 teams to come back from 8+ down after 115 games played, you know, in the regular season. Obviously, it's been us now, and before that, it was the 73 Mets. So I think people need to take a good, long, hard look at Manager of the Year and give some serious consideration for AJ Hinch. I hope minds aren't made up because, like I said, AJ Hinch deserves it, and you know what? Probably should win it at the end.
So that new stat, you can help me out with the other stat that came up. Teams that were 10.5 games back, 10 or more games back, that it came back to make the playoffs. This is a new stat. I think the 64 cards, 2011 cards. Was it the 06 cards too? I feel like the cards have done this enough times.
No. All I remember was that all the other 3 teams went on to win the World Series, which, you know, no pressure. But
what number 4?
Yeah, I can't remember who the other one was. I know it was definitely 2 cards teams.
Yeah, and I also think about the OptiStats line. I think I dropped it in our group chat. The Tigers are the first team ever to make the postseason without anyone with 150 hits, no one with 25 or more home runs, no one with 75 or more RBIs, and no one with 25 or more stolen bases.
Oh, yeah. It's the 04 Pistons. Like, not a super. I mean, obviously we got Scooble, but like from the batting side, there's who? No one knows who these people are.
Yeah, they do now. Slowly but surely.
I got another interesting comparison too. I saw this today on Twitter, and it's a team comparison of notable players at age 20 at age 24 their season or younger. So they're comparing the 2016 Cubs. Chris Bryant, 24, Spencer Torkelson, 24. Jorge Soler, 24, Parker Meadows, 24. Wilson Contreras, 24, Wencel Perez, 24. Javier Baez, 23, Trey Sweeney, 24. Kyle Schwarber 23, Riley Green 23, Addison Russell 22, Colt Keith 22. So there's just these little things, just these little little nuanced comparisons that are kind of creepy in a sense, kind of exciting in a sense as well. But it's just, I mean, you look at shit like that, and you look at just the different things that they did throughout the year. Well, the second half, well, this past month and a half, 2 months. Whether it's the Sweeney catch, whether it's the Parker Meadows Grand Slam in San Diego, whether it's
any of Parker's grabs in Baltimore or Seattle or anything. Yeah.
Whether it's Andy Ibanez not really doing anything up until that last at bat in Houston and hitting a fucking rope down the third base line.
He was just saving up. He was saving up that hit.
Shit at work when that happened.
To clear the bases. It just again, none of it makes sense.
In a packed Houston stadium. That was very loud.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Give me a reliever in your mind, not named Tyler Holton.
Okay.
That has shown brightest to you.
Oh, Brisky.
Yeah, I was gonna say him. If not him, then probably Vest lately.
Yeah.
Those two
have both just Vest in Houston,
out.
my God.
Yeah, what do you do? Strike out 4 out of 5 batters he faced the one game?
Yeah, and I think he took out one. Did he strike out anyone on Wednesday? Either that or he had a 7-pitch inning on Wednesday. Whatever it was ridiculous.
And how many of these guys had 5 ERAs and didn't do shit in Toledo? And all of a sudden they get called up to Detroit. They get called up to the major league team, and then all of a sudden they're, going out there and doing their best Mariano Rivera impressions. It's
Chris Fetter might need to get the bag before Scooble does. Actually, no, same time. You announced Scooble with Fetter.
I don't know what's going on in AAA with the pitching coaches down there, but does this happen with Ty Madden? This happened with Reese last year before he came up.
Gunther,
they just struggle, and then they meet Fetter in Lund, and then they turn into. I don't know, man. It's I wasn't when they brought Job up to AAA, I was really? Just bring him up here. What's the worst that happened? He learns from Fetter.
And that's the thing too, is even when Job looked really good that one game that he was at the second
Tampa series. Yep.
Yeah, that was the second game of the Tampa series, I believe. He looked good there, and even in Houston when he was out there, he didn't look awful. He obviously you could see nerves kind of getting to him.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. It's a good segue now to talk about.
Yeah,
this.
he wasn't getting hit hard. It seemed like the situation was getting the best of him a little bit, and understandably so, considering he's what, 22?
22. He's 22.
Yeah, and pitching. A month ago he was just coming up from Erie and getting to Toledo and not having the slightest idea that he was going to end up pitching on the road in Houston in
a leverage situation.
Yeah, in a high
leverage situation.
Yes.
Also close enough where many family coming from Oklahoma could be at that ball game too. So you have all these added nerves. And I feel like that too, Adam. I'm glad you said it, because I know a lot of people are why would you throw him in that situation? He probably wants to be thrown in that situation at 22 years old. And other than the first batter being hit by pitch to me, every other thing was right. It's just the mechanics were off by other factors led to everything. AJ Hinch did say the roster isn't out yet for the Division Series, but Job is on the roster for the Division Series. I'm excited for that.
I mean, he's the number one pitching prospect in baseball, like for a reason, and AJ Hinch wants to see it.
Yeah.
He trusts him enough, clearly.
And I'm assuming Montero's probably going to be on then.
You would hope.
Where did you see the roster? Where'd you see that roster at?
It's not out yet. It should be out tomorrow. But AJ Hinch was on a presser today. He said roster's come. Yeah, roster's out tomorrow, but Job will be on the roster.
I missed that part. I watched that. I must have missed it. That's good. I love that.
Oh, so yeah, and the assumption has to be that Maeda is probably going to be left off. But you have to assume that Montero is going to be on this time around. And if he is, then somebody else has to come back off. Now, are they going to take off a position player? Because there was always talk that they were going to have an extra pitcher going into the wild card series, but that didn't happen. They ended up going with the position player instead. So it's just interesting to think about who's going to be left off in this sense. If Job is going to be on it, and you're working under the assumption that Montero is also going to come back.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I would switch for Montero, and it'd have to be a reliever, I would think. I don't know, Gunther, Hannafy.
Hannafy was good. I thought Hannafy was pretty good on Wednesday.
That's the thing, though. Who? But we need another starter, though.
Do you take off? Well, that's the thing, because I look at all these different these players that play multiple positions, position-wise, right? You ain't gonna take Zach McKinstry off, because Zach McKinstry is this team's version of Don Kelly and Andrew Romine. And also that double. I think you're seeing some of the things, like I know a lot of people, whenever I felt like multiple times I saw this during the season, whenever Tigers PR announced roster moves, they'll be like, what is Zach McKinstry? This is like how some people probably fell in Detroit City land just about Connor Rutz last year. Like, what does Zach McKinstry have on everybody? But he's proven it wrong, because he's making big ass plays on it wherever he's on the field. He had that good hit. He's starting to hit clutch a little bit more. I mean, I see why you keep a guy like that in there. Is it Jace Young, maybe? You got to keep Dingler in for two catchers. I'm wondering if you take Jace Young out for Montero.
I don't know. Who's our fourth outfielder? Wenzel? Because you don't want to lose a switch hitter, though, either.
No, because Wenzel's hit both left and right this series.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I wouldn't take out the switch.
No, AJ's not going to leave out the switch hitter. He loves Wenzel too much for that. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I don't know who I'd leave off for Montero. Well, it's not my decision, so I can just throw out I don't know, Gunther. He's right-handed, right?
Gunther's a lefty.
I didn't realize we had that many lefties in the bullpen, too.
Dude, we have so many lefties on this team. It's insane.
I mean, that's the thing, though. We don't need that many lefties, either. And we don't have another lefty starter.
Yeah, because Holton's
obviously,
Holton has two playoff starts down there already, so that's insane. I wouldn't take out Foley. I think Foley's one of those guys to me, like, okay, Tuesday happened with Houston, but that thing with Houston reminded me a lot of the Baltimore game a couple weekends ago. You don't get the first out against a team like that, and you don't get a call in your favor, then those things can happen. Brisky came out and did him a favor on that.
He's not going anywhere, though, because we need a sinker. We need a ground ball guy.
Do you leave out Justin Henry Malloy in this series?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Because he really can't field. AJ doesn't like to play him on the field. But we don't have that many righty bats either.
We got a lot of lefty bats.
We have so many lefty bats. So many.
We left Carpenter out of game 1 because he couldn't hit lefties. My point being, I feel like it's gonna be if it's 4 position guy, I feel like it's gonna be Jace Young, unfortunately. I could see Jahan though too, unfortunately. That's the other one.
I think Jahan will be left off first. Just because he doesn't really play the field. You have to have that in the playoffs.
Yeah. Especially against this team you're playing.
Yeah. You're also going to be playing a Cleveland team that has a very good bullpen as well. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if you want to end up stacking up. If you want to end up keeping the bats for those options against a good bullpen, if you want to play the matchups, in which case, you mentioned it, Yowdy. Maybe it's going to be Gunther. Maybe it's going to be Hannafy. In that case,
devil's advocate question: would you consider switching Mize out for Montero?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Actually, yeah. Now that you post it, yes. Because I am not big on Mize.
I think Mize is done here after this year. I think
with the arbitration situation, especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally just thought of that a couple of minutes ago.
I think that's it. I think that's what I would go with. I'd switch out Montero for Mize.
I think Montero has to. If you put Montero in, he's got to start a game because Montero.
Sure.
Montero can't come in after somebody. We've seen it multiple times now where the dude gets torched, both against the top targeted team in Baltimore and then the White Sox.
Because
Mize is inconsistent right now.
Yeah, because they're going to be going with Holton game 1, Skubal game 2, and then up in the air. If they put in Montero, then you can have Montero start game 3 at home.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can. I mean, you're going to have another bullpen day anyway. I don't think you could pitch Skubal twice in the series.
As much as they say they want him to go 2 and 5, I also don't want to go to 5 games with this Guardians team if we don't have to.
Well, the thing is too with Skubal is he's already well beyond what they wanted to pitch him as far as innings go this year. He's already well beyond that.
The window in the playoffs.
I am worried about if he's got something lingering after Tuesday.
Have we heard anything?
No, I don't think so.
And we do have an extra day off before Monday too, because we don't play on Sunday.
Right. I think it's got to be Mize. You know what I love? I love that what did they dub the title for Reese? The official spokesperson for pitching chaos. I love that they haven't. Yeah, they haven't even dubbed it. They haven't even thrown him in yet. But he's got
never mind.
He's got a title. He's got a title.
I completely forgot about Reese for some reason. So you go. Yeah, you go. You go Holton game 1. Yeah, you go Holton game 1 or Holton game 1, Skubal game 2, Reese Olson game 3, and then you go Montero game 4.
Do you think AJ would have that many actual rotation guys though?
Yeah. Reese hasn't been going more than 3 2/3, unfortunately, since he's gotten back. So I think part of that is AJ is also managing Reese and not wanting to overwork him coming back, but he wants him on the roster, as you can see, the dub spokesperson of pitching chaos. I think it's one of, like I said, I was on. You heard it in our combos. Adam heard me on air. Like, the dude couldn't buy a win earlier in the year. The dude was putting up great numbers, but didn't get the fucking run support. Then when he got the run support, our bullpen couldn't stand up in one of those rare games. So I think, I think he's like a kid. I think Reese can go in any part of the game. Montero has to start a game.
And that's cool with me. I mean that's my prediction. All of that's happening without Mize touching the mound. So I think Mize is probably the guy who you leave off. But we're not even positive that AJ's gonna put Montero back onto the roster. So I mean, obviously we're all working off the assumption that he is. I think he will, and I think he should. So
we'll know middle of the day. Well, let's see. Actually, we won't know middle of the day. We might know tomorrow morning. Because we got a first pitch 1:08 tomorrow. So, Cleveland Guardians time. Shane Bieber, when we were at Keyworth for Detroit City's second home game, we had learned that day that Shane Bieber was on Tommy John. And yet they somehow pulled off a 92 win season. They only played 161 due to them and the Astros being rained out on the final day. Ben Lively, or Lively, I always forget how they pronounce his last name, led the team in wins for the Guardians, 13-10, 150 innings pitched. Tanner Bibby, 12-8, gets to start for Cleveland in game 1. You also have rough starting pitching for them. Carrasco, 3-10, Gavin Williams, 3-10. But you have a Cleveland team that got a killer bullpen.
Man, look at those ERA plus numbers for the starters. 2 guys over 100, and you won 92 games.
I think it's that bullpen. Like, I'm looking at guys like Kate Smith, Gaddis, Nick Sandlin, obviously, and we're not even getting yet to Emmanuel Clase.
Did you see his ERA plus? Clase's?
Not yet.
674. 674 ERA plus. That is. Don't want to face them with the lead. I know that.
So I want to, and then I'm looking at their bats. Obviously, the one guy that scares the absolute living daylights out of me is Jose Ramirez. 39 dingers, 118 RBIs, 39 doubles, 173 hits, 114 runs, 6.8 WAR, 872 OPS, and then Josh Naylor after that, 31 homers, 108 RBIs. But then Andres Jimenez at second base. I think a bunch of scrappy players after that. This is of all. So there's 4 DS series now. 3 of these have a local-ish proximity to each other. Tigers from Comerica Park to Jacobs Field or Progressive Field is just under 3 hours. I think it's like 162 something miles or something along those lines. It is the second shortest distance. LA San Diego is fewer miles, but a little bit longer because highway and you're driving on the water and you probably don't want to get blown into the Pacific Ocean. So that's like 3 hours. And then Mets Phillies. I was in Toledo last night and I didn't know shit went on at Mets Brewers till Yowdy's tweet about the Pete Alonso, Apotaco, 3-run Dane. The Mets also have to deal with history because it seems like every team that has knocked out the Brewers in the DS lately has gone on to represent the NL in the World Series. I would not mind Tigers Mets. I'm just saying. But yeah, with all that talk about, and then obviously the furthest distance DS is Royals Yankees. Are you feeling like Cleveland is a better matchup for the Tigers than if we would have played the Yankees, or would you have been concerned in different ways? Same amount, different ways?
I mean, I would much rather face Cleveland right now. I mean, I mean, eventually we're going to face the Yankees, I assume, the next round if we advance. So the two teams I'm worried about the most we're going to play probably. I mean, no, I don't want to face the Yankees. I don't. Fortunately, we have a history of knocking them out in the postseason. So I guess we have history on our side too.
Right.
But I don't. I just trust Hinch having seen Cleveland more this year. And with how much he loves to pinch hit, I would rather go against their bullpen.
That's cool. Yeah, I get you on that one. Adam, what about you, man?
I'm the same way. I don't want to play. I don't want to play the Yankees until. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want. I mean, that's why I was okay with getting that final wild card spot, and going to Houston to play Houston instead of going to Baltimore to play the Orioles, because second round or the DS, you're gonna end up having to play the Yankees if you're going through Baltimore first. So,
Right.
and I thought we still matched up pretty well against the Astros, and it seemed, I don't know if AJ wanted that series more than the Orioles, because he certainly seemed like he played the matchup like that in that final White Sox series. Obviously going in, with Maeda and everything that he did, all the decisions that he made there, it certainly seemed like he wanted the Astros more than the Orioles. But yeah, I don't want to play the Yankees until we absolutely have to in the championships series. There's just too many different variables that the Yankees can beat you, and this Tigers team, obviously being as young as they are, I don't want to have to see them going to Yankee Stadium right now. Um, get some more wins under your belt in the playoffs. Go through Cleveland first, get your experience in there, and then take that to the Bronx, and then hopefully grind out a series win against the Yankees. It's just, geez, it's like it's 2006 all over again. It seems like, in some sense, but
The other thing is, though,
yeah,
would you rather face New York in a 7-game series or a 5-game series?
that's the other thing too. Is I mean, yeah, I mean, the argument, you could make the very good argument saying, oh, would you rather beat the Yankees? Would you only have to beat the Yankees 3 times instead of 4?
I feel like
Yeah.
though. I feel like in a DS though, KC matches up better with the Yankees than maybe we can.
Well, and
I think
here's the thing too.
I think KC can do some damage to them.
In the championship series, Game 7, you can pitch Skubal twice.
Yeah.
You can pitch Skubal twice in that series, and you're having the best pitcher on the planet. There's 2 wins you should have right there. And if I don't want to say I'm guaranteed 2 wins against the Yankees, but you put yourself in an excellent position to get 2 wins against the Yankees. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bank on that more than having 1 win against the Yankees. Not guaranteed, but maybe 80%.
How lit both of you think Comerica Park's going to be? Game 3, Wednesday, 3:00, 3:08 pitch drop, first pitch. Maybe Game 4 on Thursday, depending on where this series, how this series progresses. I couldn't find tickets for Game 3. I looked at 6:00 on Wednesday, sold out. I feel like I was at the Tuesday day game versus the Rays, and even at 22,000 people for a game pushed up 5 hours with 50-minute delay to rain, that place was pumping. Now you're in a playoff series, motivated. GMAC cash is like flooding waves. Tigers in the wild. Tigers are getting hot. Jared Goff making the second biggest thing next to his name being chanted by just saying "Go Tigers" at the end of a press conference.
Don't talk about the Lions with Yowdy on here right now.
No, but hey man, he's good. His team's rolling.
Yeah, now.
Yeah. You kicked the shit out of the Bills. You had a good weekend. Point being, how nuts is this going to be? Even wilder than say like 2014 or anything like that. I'm pumped. I just don't know like how.
Oh, it has to be louder. I don't want to say people were like jaded at that point, because I don't want to make it seem like Tigers fans are ever going to be jaded, but like we built a Death Star at that point. Like this team is a bunch of guys. Like this is like the most Detroit like sports team we've had in I don't know how long.
I like the term jaded for that, Yowdy, because when you look back at 2014, you had a manager that was kind of unpopular in Brad Ausmus at the time.
First year.
You had a team that just lost the first two games in Baltimore, who was without Chris Davis at the time. And you had a pitching rotation that, what was it? It was David Price, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer,
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Porcello.
And you couldn't buy a win in Baltimore then. So you had them coming back home to Detroit. I mean, what this is going to be like, this is going to be again shades of 2006. People thought that the Padres, that atmosphere was crazy the other night. People haven't seen anything yet. When that comes back to the only thing that sucks is it's not a night game. When people see that, how shit is going to be popping off at Comerica Park on Wednesday. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's going to be the biggest home field advantage in this postseason. Nothing else is going to be able to compare to it.
I'm so excited, dude. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's it, because people talk about Detroit being a football town and the hockey town thing. When the Tigers are good,
Shit is lit.
It is a baseball town first and foremost.
His team has had a baseball team since 1894. We had the Wolverines before that. This has been a baseball team for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And people forget how big the Tigers were in this city for a long time.
And Adam and I, as we've often talked about, the same old Lions mentality. Even when you compare to 1972 when the Tigers won a division, in that span, the Lions made more playoff appearances than the Detroit Tigers, which tells you that, yes, maybe we haven't been punching up to our weight as for a name-long team as long as we have been, but when our teams are good and they're in, it gets a lot of fucking fun. And coming from a work environment where I was not discouraged to turn our front office TV, from which normally has our company sizzle reel, into logging into my YouTube TV, putting sound on to about the mid-level, and being like, "You got the game on, right?" Yeah, and people watching, especially as people like, "Wait, who's Hunter Brown?" That's the. I have a lot of St. Clair Shores relatives, companies they work with, so a lot of them like, "You remember Hunter Brown coming up?" So you see like that series and just everybody getting to tell my GM to stay in the office that he was chatting to during the 8th inning because he was by me in the front desk when Joe pitched in the 7th. We gave up 2 runs, and then he went to go out the door. I'm like, "No, you need to stay in the office. A good thing's happening," as Ibanez is stepping in the bat. I mean, point being is, when this team is good, anything in Detroit and the surrounding areas can fucking happen, and it's a beautiful thing. And when you even got our governor of the state be like, "Houston, you have a problem. You let the Tigers get hot." There's no decorum there. Tigers are hot. Tigers won again. Now, I'm gonna run these off. I want all your predictions on this. We got 4 DS series. We're saving the best prediction for last and the most important. So all 4 start tomorrow. Tigers Guardians got the early game at 108. All the ALDSs are on the TBS family networks. The NLs are on Fox and FS1. So you got Tigers Guardians at 108. Mets Phillies at 4. God, that series is going to be fucking intense. Royals Yankees, and then Padres Dodgers. Yowdy, start off. Give me start with the NLs through the AL. Your division winners, division series winners, and games.
I think San Diego is going to win in 4. I do not think LA has enough pitching to get through it. And I think Philly's going to win. Man, I think Philly's going to sweep them. I really do. Well, no, hold on. No, I think Philly's going to win in 4. If they didn't have the bye week, I think they would, but I trust Philly to win.
Okay, now we got Royals Yankees.
Man, see, normally I'd take Yankees as a sweep, but I don't. This bye week's a killer. I swear, this bye week's a killer. I think it's going to be Yankees in 4. I think Yankees in 4. And then you want the Tigers too?
Tell you what, let's do the rest of them, and then we'll just solely Tigers Guardians once, just to get people to like, oh fuck, man, you're making this late. Yeah, damn right you are. So you got those 3. Okay, so you got Padres in 4 over the Dodgers, Phillies in 4 over the Mets, Yankees in 4 over the Royals. Adam.
Mine is pretty much the same, except I'm going to go Padres in 5. And then I'm going to go Yankees in 4. And then Phillies in 4 as well.
This is going to be the same way. Padres in 4. We've been talking about us being hot and going 31-13. The San Diego Padres, after 100 games, were 50-50. They finished the regular season 44-18. 2 games over the Atlanta Braves. I don't care that the Braves had a doubleheader on there. The Padres won with hitting and pitching. They look good. That 3-game series we had with them in September was one of my favorite series of baseball, regardless of the 3-game series. But yeah, I mean, Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, who learned how to steal bases and stole 59 of them, in addition to hitting 54 home runs. But I argue that's, if you limit him, you're going to win. Padres in 4. Phillies, Mets. I was thinking the Brewers are going to beat the Mets. I thought the Diamondbacks are going to be getting in over the Mets in the last wild card spot. Because I thought the Braves were going to sweep the doubleheader on Monday. But you know, Pete Lindor and Pete Alonso are saying otherwise. That being said, Philly's good. Philly's stacked. Zach Wheeler starting tomorrow. Nick Castellanos tends to decide to really be like, what other tragic moment's going to happen that I can hit a home run in after? Phillies in 4 because the series has to at least play 2 games in New York. I'm going Yankees in 5. I think Casey's going to push them, because I think this is where the week off is going to be tough for the Yankees, and I think Kansas City's playing small ball right now, and I think they're going to force the Yankees to grind in this series. Yankees get it done, but it goes to 5. Now for the fun one, the main event.
I'm taking Tigers in 5. I think it's going to be a grind series. I really do. I mean, it's going to be a bullpen shootout, I think. It's just going to be whatever, whose bullpen lasts longer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tigers in 5 as well. And there's going to be some ridiculous magic that happens at the end of the series that people are just going to be like, what the fuck is going on? It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be
no-hitter.
It's gonna be Garrett's sitting here talking about how he wants to leave Jace Jung off the Divisional Series roster. Jace Jung is gonna hit like some 2-run home run in Game 5 to put the Tigers ahead. And yeah,
I'm just saying it might have been Jace Young leading in to make me all of a sudden think, oh wait, we could just take Mize up for Montero.
So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Tigers in 5.
I had a coworker thank me about Andy Ibanez because when we were so left happy on Wednesday, I'm like, they're gonna save it for a righty, and you'll probably put Ibanez in for McKinstry. And I didn't expect him to hit a fucking 3-run 2-bagger that became a 3-bagger in the 8th, but I'll take that compliment. Cleveland's a talented team. Cleveland's got a really, really deep bullpen, and I think if you can,
can't believe Garrett's picking the Guardians.
Hold on, motherfuckers. But I think you can get to their starting pitching, regardless any of them. Even though they got 2 really, really good arms, you work them in the count, you get them going. Avoid Emmanuel Clase. This series ends in Comerica Park. The Tigers win in 4.
Oh.
So which game do you think we're going to win in Cleveland? 1 or 2? 1?
2.
We should. I'm more confident about 2.
Yeah.
Now, because this is a little bit in the 3-game wild card, no excuses. You got to win game 1. And Adam, I think you and I talked about it. You win game 1, you win the series, right? That's what I felt like. That's exactly what happened, and we said that, and lo and behold, it happened. Houston made us work in game 2, but they were like scratching and clawing. Here, you have a little bit of wiggle room. You could lose a close game, but be motivated enough, and then Skubal comes out and lights it up, and then you're the team with momentum heading home.
Well, that's the funny thing about this series too, is I think the pressure right now is going to be on Cleveland in that game 1. Right. That's kind of like the cool thing about starting Skubal in game 2. If the Tigers come out and they actually and they manage to win game 1, and you have the best pitcher,
that's even better, yeah.
And you have the best pitcher in Major League Baseball going out for game 2. And then all of a sudden you have the Tigers potentially having a 2-0 lead going back to Comerica. If the Tigers win tomorrow, I can see a sweep happening. If not,
that's the only game. Game 1's the only. I'm concerned more about game 1 than game 2.
If not, the Tigers winning in 4. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be a big game for Cleveland because they need to come out and they need to win that opener to avoid going in and facing Skubal down 0-1. So
who's their starter? Bybee, I think.
Bybee in 1.
They announced 2 yet?
They have not announced 2 yet, I don't think. Let me look here. I guess this is going to be lively on there. Yeah. No, Cleveland's just only undecided because every other starting pitching for the first 2 games has been decided. Like tomorrow's Holden versus Bybee here for us, Senga versus Wheeler and Mets Phils, Waka Cole, Royals Yankees, Cease versus Yamamoto, Padres Dodgers, and then Sunday in the NL, Severino Sanchez, Darvish versus Jack Flaherty, and then Reagans versus Rodin Monday night for Royals Yanks. So I think, yeah, you would think Lively starts for that, but then Cleveland might decide to be like, oh, what's this bullpen like thing?
You know what's going to happen? Tigers are going to go to the World Series against the Dodgers, and we're going to have to face Flaherty.
Hey, Sweeney's going to homer off of him. That's what's going to happen.
Sweeney's going to.
Oh my God!
A walk-off win in game whatever for the Tigers.
Game 7.
Trey Sweeney off of
at Dodger Stadium. He's going to be doing the Kirk Gibson like.
Oh my God. That would be some wild ass shit.
You can't make this shit up. Hey, given how this season has gone for the Tigers,
anything's possible.
You can't say that's not going to happen.
Anything's possible at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But here's the thing. Adam, I told you this. I might tell you. Like, part of me was really hoping if we continue to go on this miracle run, I kind of wanted Tigers Brewers because I thought Brewers World Series going to see a World Series game in Milwaukee might be cheaper than going to see a World Series game in Detroit. But then the Brewers choked in Game 3, shocker. So now I'm like, okay, so what do we got? Tigers. I mean, if we get through, I want Tigers Mets. Just for old vibes and banter.
I want Tigers Dodgers now just so we can homer off Flaherty.
I still want Tigers Padres. I still want a rematch of '84, and we're gonna do it again.
San Diego scares the absolute living shit out of me. They really do.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's also a fun baseball between both. That was a 3-game series. That even when we lost the first game 3-0 and blew a 5-0 lead in the second series, but all 3 games were fun. And I suppose both fan bases. Yeah, you know what? Maybe sentimentality, but I'll feel most confident if it's against the Mets. We'll see. A lot of fun things. Adam's already dressed like 1984 for those in the thing on there. He's got he's still got the OG bigger Tiger hat. He's going to work on getting the current day with the smaller D.
Real quick, because I know we got to get off.
Yeah.
LK line is on the back of this jersey, and
so you got
I wore this. I wore this to a game one time. This is several years ago, and we were sitting in like the Comerica like party deck or something like that, or like the Comerica lounge or something. It was really cool. It was like a suite almost, but it wasn't like the individual suites. Like you go in there, they have like buffet and shit like that. And when we're walking to it, somebody taps me on my shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, that's a real nice jersey you're wearing." I turn around, it was LK line.
That's fucking awesome.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool because he was at the time he's been working for the Tigers forever, obviously in some capacity since he retired decades ago. But yeah, it was fucking LK line, so that was really cool. I didn't have anything for him to sign it though, but and he had to like go up to the booth or some shit like that. But yeah, it was really cool.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
I think real quick before we close, why don't we do some just final thoughts, just because this is just a magical, I feel like let's kind of get some how we're like feeling or what this run's kind of meant for all of us. I feel like whether we keep talking about this at the end of next week or so forth. Yowdy, why don't you start?
This is the best I've felt about baseball since 2006. That's all it reminds me of, like just magic out of nowhere. This just reminds me of why I love baseball.
Adam, what about you, bud?
Yeah, this is I mean, there's really no words for it. It's just it's a great thing to witness. A great thing to witness.
I value this a lot more than 2006, and maybe age lived has one thing to do with it. And I feel like this run that this team is on is tying into a lot of cool things other than life. I told a few stories on this. I think some of you in circles here. Wednesday, I had a college roommate call me in between the 5th and the 6th inning. He had just, and he proposed to his girl in the summer, and he goes to me, he's like, "Hey, here's the wedding that you're going to be around for like this date, October 25." And I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Yeah, he goes, damn hope so." Because I want you to be my best man. I'm like, you floored for a minute. And I say yes. And shortly after saying yes, Parker Meadows hits that home run off the foul pole, which means that this great run is tying into a lot of, I think, it's making us feel something in life that's really, really special. It transcends the game itself right now. And I'm valuing that in a way that I haven't valued any of these Tigers runs in my lifetime so far. So with that, I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to throw on that.
No. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Hell yeah, man. Like Derek Goff said, go Tigers. Yowdy, where can people find you on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at Mike Feldbeard. Same thing, Instagram. That's it.
And where can they find your brother that admitted in the summer that he wasn't a baseball fan, but is now full on in baseball? I considered inviting him tonight to join us, but I need him at 100% for Pistons talk later this month. Where can we find Fat Melbush at FATTMELDBUS Twitter?
Yeah, I think he's at Matt Feldbush. I think. I don't know. I don't usually type his in, you know.
But he's in.
It's like,
I love that when he's like, I'm 100% in now. Like, oh my god! I go, I'm putting you on air for this.
Yeah, it's Matt Feldbush. Follow him for basketball takes.
You can credit him. You gotta give him credit though, because maybe it was his hot dog binge fest that helped inject some magic into
him and
into
Noah,
this
man.
team.
Putting their heart and soul into this team.
Shout out to Noah on that too. No, like I said, Noah and Rasan, my two favorite Detroit City ticketing people ever. So yeah, dude. Adam, what about you?
At TMSNX Adam on Twitter. Also, get at us to Majors Detroit at TMSNX Detroit, and the Majors TV, youtube.com/Majors TV.
We are red hot with a lot of different content. Adam's doing so many different graphics, transcending so many different things. So you've seen us all one way or another. Detroit.themajorsports.com for any of our content. And you can find me, Twitter, Instagram, Discord at GM Comats. Yeah, man, this is a run. Boys and girls, children of all ages. The Tigers are hot. The Tigers Tigers are still winning. And hopefully at the end of this series, we could say the Tigers won again. 1:08 Saturday, October 5th, Tigers Guardians Game 1. This series starts. Eat 'em up. Bless you, boys. All of that. Let's fucking go. From Yowdy, 5-ish minutes from me. Adam, 30-ish minutes from me. Garret Comats here. Thank you for checking out another episode. The Tiger-centric edition of Detroit City Sportscast. Let's hope we do this again next week.
See ya.